bit to your left, Bill, just a touch. Let's lift it up a bit so we can see it. And action.
This is day 3 of principal photography for the short film The Vandal.
To your right.
Written and directed by Eddie Alcazar and
To your
executive
left.
produced by Darren Aronofsky.
All right, cut. Cut it. That's great. All right, let's move on.
Eddie is an award-winning Latino filmmaker from Albuquerque, New Mexico, who's taken on the complex task of combining live action with stop-motion miniature photography, blending the two as seamlessly as possible. They coined the term metascope to best describe it. Basically, the closer you get to things, the more real they become. And it was far from easy. Good thing he assembled a top tier of talented artists, animators, and actors. The result is a groundbreaking throwback to the golden era of Hollywood cinema.
It's a project that is important to do.
Any sharp pains or headaches?
Because Eddie was captivated by the fact that there was this neurosurgeon that gave many people lobotomies that were not needed because he was experimenting or he was just, I guess, crazy or whatever. And Eddie wanted to really bring attention to this.
Continue on your regular medicine.
So my character had a lobotomy, unnecessary lobotomy, and it talks about the condition that he is in after that lobotomy. And how he tries to deal with the love of his wife, he tries to deal with the world, but he doesn't see things the way other people see things. He doesn't receive things the way other people receive things since the operation. So he's literally worse off now than he was before the operation that was supposed to correct his condition.
Camera.
We always think of a vandal as this person that's just out to cause destruction or wreak havoc, but in this instance, it's actually somebody that's trying to find a way to express pain, somebody that's trying to find a way to have an outlet for this rage, anger, despair, and all of those feelings, and chooses to do that through vandalizing artwork.
040, take 1.
We're following a general theme.
And action.
Open your eyelids for me, please. We're leading the way for these characters to be able to tell their larger story.
Thank you, Doctor, for everything. You've really been a blessing to us.
Ring me if you have any concerns. I think that the concept that Eddie has put together is very interesting and very innovative. I think a lot of people are going to be very impressed with the outcome of it.
You're the one that's all over the media. Vandal. I admire your work.
I thought it was a very beautiful, kind of sad, strange story. Eddie made the decision to go into the animation and work with puppets and to combine the live action with the stop motion animation. It's been a real trip.
Whoa! Stop! Did you see that? Go back. Yeah, those are Bill Duke's real eyeballs composited into his puppet.
To tell the story of the Vandal, the animated puppets must convey emotion. What I did on the Vandal was to film actors while they mimic the movements and the performance of their animated puppets. Filming the actor's eyes then gives me many frames that I can use to reconstruct or reanimate a performance onto the puppets' faces. If it's not seamless or the character's personality deviates, then the illusion is lost.
By the way, the very first stop-motion film produced was 1898's The Humpty Dumpty Circus, a short film made using dolls with jointed limbs to simulate the movements of circus acrobats. These dolls, puppets, have come a long way. It's not every day a puppet plays you in a movie.
Stop motion I've never worked on before. It's actually very involved. It takes quite a long time to do, and the part that we play in it compared to the amount that the puppets play in it is actually very minimal.
I got to see a lot of the puppetry of the character, and it was so close to me that I didn't have to stretch to get it. So it kind of helped me to know who Ava is.
How are you feeling today, Harold?
I love what things looked like when there wasn't so much technology. So to blend in what we have now but still remain that, have that integrity, it's intriguing to me.
She will always be with you.
I know Eddie's work. I think that he has a really interesting way of using images and story in a surreal kind of way that it's so fascinating.
It's unique the way we're shooting it, it's unique the way it's getting edited, and it's unique as far as the kind of naturalism that Eddie's going for. But also a stylized movement that feels handmade.
I think that'd be a great cutting point.
Just have him open his coat, stick his hand in, pull it out.
Someone call the police! All right, cut it.
It's more of a scientific process than it is, a creative process. It's creative to an extent, but then a lot of it becomes very technical.
Check this out. Eddie and his team used these LED monitors running on the Unreal Engine by Epic Games to play back virtual environments that can be manipulated digitally and in real time. This is called real-time in-camera technology, and it's magic. Behind Bill, that is an LED screen. And here,
It's beautiful, isn't it?
and there. These walls create natural ambient lighting, resulting in an extremely realistic shot, undistinguishable from a real-world environment.
Eddie first approached us after a demo that we had given with Epic. It sounded like he had a really great idea of bringing something at a miniature scale up to a massive scale that we could actually put people inside of. And it's really where kind of Epic's Unreal Engine is kind of coming in to play with us and allowing us to merge those two worlds together.
And action.
I remember when we first moved here, so much of heaven.
I'm excited that it's a new medium that we can use because it certainly simplifies the process. If we've already built a set at a small scale, instead of rebuild it full scale, to be able to utilize the set as is and make it still look photoreal and hold up.
For the music score, Eddie and film composer Chris Bowers drew inspiration from the 1957 film Vertigo, scored by legendary film composer Bernard Herrmann.
For me, that's one of my favorite scores of all time, and Bernard Herrmann is one of my favorite composers of all time. And, Eddie really wanted me to go there with the music and to make it as big and lyrical or emotional as possible. And I think that just accentuates all of the filmmaking choices with the animation and the live action as well.
Sir, are you okay?
I've worked on a lot of different films, but I've never worked on something that it took this much detail to do, and just admiring the artists that do that. I mean, we're talking about places this large, and they put a puppet inside of that and they move it around. It really is fascinating stuff.
My hat's off to Eddie in particular for taking this leap, because he's needing to let go of a lot of control. He's really going into unknown territory himself and really exhibits a lot of courage, I think, artistically. So I want to give him credit for that.